Hello everybody, my name's Ian, G0XBU. Just a quick explanation on what's involved with the Jodrell WebSDR and how you use it, and some little hints and tips. So when you log into it, you'll be presented with this screen. At the very top, you can put in your kind of call sign or nickname or whatever you want, really, as long as it's not a swear word. If you leave it blank, it will just display your IP address at the bottom of the screen. You can see everybody who's connected and what frequencies they're looking at. And it gives you a gauge then of what activity's going on. You don't want to miss out on something. So you can have a look and think, oh, that would appear that those people are monitoring channel 19 of CB. There's 555. This is a call-in channel on 2 meters FM. There's a few people on 80 meters, etc. So it's a useful little thing to look at. While we're at the bottom, this is a chat box. So you just in this box here, you just pop in whatever you want to say regarding the WebSDR. Again, trying to keep the abuse down. I can remove any entries that I don't want to see in there, so but it's just nice for everybody to play nicely and behave, isn't it? Anyway, back to the top. Let's work our way down. So on the top left here, I often change this depending on what I've got the antenna height set to. As you know, they're on a telescopic tower, and if it gets really windy, which it does over here near Jodrell Bank, it's pretty flat and very open, so there's nothing to block the wind. So I try and lower it down when it's looking. If it's anything above 30 knot gusts, then I'll drop it down to 10 meters. If it goes above about 45 knot gusts, I'll actually tilt the tower completely over and then put the WebSDR on the spare antennas, which consist of an X510 on the side of the shack and a DX Commander style vertical for HF. The rest of them just have to make do, I'm afraid. The next one is a little, if you click here, this is a separate web page which gives a little bit of information about the WebSDR, a few pictures and things like that. If when you start it up you get no audio, this tends to be more of a Chrome thing. You can click this button here to start audio, and that should bring the audio in. If not, you need to go to the tab at the top where it says not secure. Press that, go to site settings, and then find sound. There it is, and that should say allow. That's what you want to set that to. Click that, go back, and then click refresh, and that should bring the sound back up. Give it a second to load, and then you should be good to go. Right, while we're working our way along, country codes. If you click this one, it should go to the CB country codes. I've just created a quick website for that. And the next one's QRZ search. If you hear a call sign you want to look up, you just click on that. Just mute that, and the last one's a lightning map. These are just links to other websites. On the left, we've got the signal meter. Don't get too hung up on the signal. Getting some interruptions from emails. The signal strength is it's not been calibrated. It's literally just I've calibrated it based on the color of the waterfall display. So don't worry about the signal strength. It's just a gauge, really. The dBMs is quite interesting though. You can use it, for instance, say you're monitoring your own signal and you want to make some antenna changes or something like that. It's constant. You don't have to. It might not give you an exact signal strength of exactly what you're actually being received at, but it will give you an idea of any improvements you've made. So that's quite a useful tool for the WebSDR. Down here we've got the volume control. It defaults to this. You can raise and lower that, much like you can just on your PC. You can change it that way as well. This one's a DSP level. Again, it defaults to off. There's only 4 settings. Basically, you can change that, and it will change. It makes it sound a bit hollowy. I don't know if we can tell with this. I'm glad it's doing that, because that's a good example of what I was going to say next. So what happens with the DSP and Audio Boost, which are extras, the DSP extras, these actually work on your PC, not on the WebSDR server. So when you click this button, my WebSDR server is not really instigating this. Your PC's kind of doing the calculations. So if your PC's struggling with bandwidth or it's struggling with CPU load, etc., then you'll get those audio stutters like I just had, and that's because my PC's sharing the same bandwidth that everybody's using on the WebSDR. Plus, I've got the recording going for this video, so that's why mine struggles whenever click this. But just bear that in mind. Squelch Notch 1. If you hover over the buttons, it should give you an idea of what they do. So this is just a filtering for kind of carriers and things like that. Notch 2 is very similar, slightly different settings. Audio Boost is basically this adds about 6 dB. Just to kind of increase the audio, like a higher pitch. Some people prefer listening to that. The FM boost, now I've made this as one button. What you can do is click on this and it will set the DSP level by 1 notch. It will put the high boost on, and it will put the bandwidth down to the minimum, which is 6 kilohertz. And it's really useful for boosting a very weak signal on FM. Only on FM this will work. If you then deselect it, it will deselect the audio boost and DSP level, but it won't remove your 6 kilohertz level. So if you want to go back up, you have to individually press the button that corresponds to the bandwidth that you want. Recording, you can record any audio that you hear. Basically, you click start, it'll start recording whatever it's hearing. When you click stop, it will give you a download button. You can download it to your own PC and then watch it as listen to it as a WAV file. A really handy little extra thing to have. Over to the center, we've got the display, the readout of the frequency you're on. You can then select which mode you want. And then underneath, we've got some band selections, which are just presets, so you can quickly go to a band. Quite often, if you use the waterfall to select a band, say you want to, I wonder if it's going to do it now. Say I want to go and listen to 80 meters, and I want to listen to him there. What it will do is it will default to the center of the band, not because that's kind of what it's told to do. So that's why I've put these presets in, because if you click that will take you to where you want to be roughly. So see, it's took me to 80 meters instead, so that's probably a better thing to use rather than this. Just clicking on the waterfall, just a useful thing to know that. These are the waterfall controls. I've got it default to light, which just brings out, it makes things a bit whiter, the signals. It just brings out the weaker signals. If you click dark, it just darkens it all a little bit, but you can set that to light or dark. Unfortunately, the software at the moment won't allow any other changes to that. It's been something I've wanted to do for a while, much like the Kiwis, where you can adjust it. I'm told by Peter, who's created this WebSDR.org software, that a new release of it will hopefully have that incorporated. You've got Spectrum scope, which you can use. Some people prefer to see that rather than the waterfall. I personally always have the waterfall. Then this is corresponding to the size of the waterfall. It defaults to medium, but you can make it smaller. So it will, if you want to fit more into a window perhaps, or you can make it larger if you want, say, the waterfall to fill more of the screen. Then while we're on the waterfall sort of segment, we can either have one band or all bands. So if I click one band, it will just make the band that I'm listening to at the moment the only waterfall displayed. So say you have large of that band, you get a nice big sort of view of it, which is pretty good. The labels here, these are called DX labels. You can turn those off if you want, just with this button, or back on. I don't know why you need to turn them off, but you might do. But if for any reason you find something on there that you would like to be labelled and it's not, and it would help everybody else. Say you spot a frequency and you know what it is and it's not labelled, please let me know, and I can quite easily go in and add a label to that particular frequency. Basically, I add the frequency and the mode, and then as soon as you click it, it will set to that frequency and mode. Speaking of labels, we can add a memory, so our own personal memory. So I'm on 3700, I can click save, and that'll add that memory. Then I can go in here and type whatever I want to call it, and that's my own personal memory. Then, this is what you guys can do if you want to. And then if you get fed up with it, you can have as many as you want of these, I think. What it does then is adds another little label at the bottom here. And then you can just click delete, or you can click go, and it will go to that particular memory. The more you have, the bigger this list will become, so it will drop the screen down. Let me just show you. Save. See what I mean? So it kind of ruins the layout, but you've got them then if you want to. Over to the right hand side, we've got frequency controls, so up and down arrows go up and down, so that the smaller arrow goes up and down a smaller increment, and then medium increments and large increments. Again, bandwidth adjustment, this one is mainly for CW and sideband modes. You can adjust the pass band, the bandwidth effectively. The same happens if you drag the waterfall filter bar down here. That's doing exactly the same as these. If you click them, it'll move it. Very useful if you've got, say, a signal that you want to listen to and there's something near to it that's like a QRM or N near to it that you want to kind of blot out. You can adjust these, either drag it away so that this bar isn't across the bit you want to listen to, and you can kind of move it that way just to get it where you want to be. I use that quite a lot, but I tend not to use these. I tend to just drag it. It's a bit easier, but these are just cool, so you can have it. Plus it gives you a reading then of what you've actually set it to. If you want to reset it, say you go completely wrong, you can just click one of the bandwidth filters again. It'll just reset that back to where it was, the kind of default. On the bottom row here, we've got, again, for the waterfall, zooming in and out. So we've got a max zoom, so I can come out a little bit, I can go in a little bit, or I can go maximum in and maximum out. And then this is a quick sort of bandwidth down and up. So this is these go up by I can't remember what it is now. The amount, about 0.03125 kilohertz, I think it is, every click. So you can say you've got a signal you want to listen to and just slowly reduce or increase. You can press these buttons to do that instead of the presets here. We've got on the 80 meter section, because a lot of people like to use ESSB, you can actually go to I think a max of 8 kilohertz bandwidth on this band. You can really increase it right up, so we keep clicking. But on the other bands you can't. I think about 3 or 4 is the maximum, but 80 meters is a more popular one for ESSB, so that's why I've allowed that. So onto the waterfall itself. If you use your mouse wheel, you can roll the mouse wheel in, and that will go. That will zoom in. Like I said before, drag the bar across to the frequency or the thing of interest you want to listen to. So let's put a bit of audio on for you. Just reset that.
I've ever heard that with that particular station.
So you just get it set to how you want to hear it.
Just every now and again.
Like my ears will respond to different frequencies to yours, so that kind of sounds okay to me. But so that's how you do it. And then again, like I say, you can drag this to increase the bandwidth.
Far, to be honest, I was.
Or reduce it. And say we were getting some interference from the guy next door, we could just move that away from him a bit. That makes sense. So that's a quick sort of go through of the waterfall display. What else? Down the bottom, feel free to donate if you haven't already. Many thanks to those who have. It really helps. there's a link here to my Clee Hill WebSDR, but as I've put it, I'm afraid that's offline at the moment due to costs, but hopefully it's coming soon. You can control everything with the keyboard controls as well, so you don't have to be using your mouse all the time. So if you follow the keyboard controls, you can move the frequency up and down by sort of larger or smaller increments. You can use these ULCAF to change the mode. You can zoom in and out on the waterfall, and then if you click G, you can enter a frequency. You can also enter a frequency directly from this if you press on there and just type your frequency. It's in kilohertz, so there's no point here. 3712.5, not 3.712.5, if that makes sense. There's some credits mentioned. This is fairly obvious now, what we've got written down the bottom. I'm sure you guys can all read that. And then I just try and put a few updates on as well. If you want to, there's a station you want to log, just to tell everybody else what you heard, you pop it in this logbook entry field, and that will when you click the call sign and then the comments and then submit, it will just log it at the frequency and mode that you're currently listening to. So make sure you log it on when you've heard it. Don't move away and then log it, because it will show up on the wrong frequency in the log. What you can then do is you can either look at the last 20 lines of the logbook or view the entire logbook. That opens in a new window, and unfortunately at the moment it opens over the top of where you were, so you have to press the back button. But this is what it brings up if you do that. It just tells you what people have heard and when and what frequency it was on. See what I mean by the frequency? If you have that wrong, then it's going to confuse everybody. Wow, I heard somebody on that frequency, but when you didn't. So if you press back, you can go and it will go back to the default, which is 145,500. And we've got at the very bottom, we've got just a page view sort of flag counter that I added, which shows how many visitors we've had since August 2020, which is building up nicely. Some information on the kind of propagation. If you can understand that, brilliant. You're better than me because I can't. But most of that, I just read the bit where it says band clothes, fair, good, or whatever. That's the only bit I look at. So it looks like the bands are all in pretty poor condition at the moment, but it's useful to know. And then one other thing about the audio and things, if you're having some stuttering issues and things like that and it's not your PC, just drop down to the very bottom and take a look at this CP load bit here, because that is hovering around 74%, which is quite a lot considering we've only got 16 users. So that's worth noting, because if you're getting problems, it might not be your end, it might be the WebSDR end, and you might want to flag that to me if that's reaching high amounts, because that means that the poor old PC is struggling with everything. The other thing you can have is if you want to, you can pipe the audio from the WebSDR and use it for monitoring FT8, etc. data modes. So if you've got the software to run the data modes, such as WSJT, JTX, I think it is, isn't it? If you've got that and you've got the virtual audio cable installed on your computer, so VAC or any other form of virtual audio, which allows you to pipe audio between software programs, you can simply use the WebSDR or any WebSDR if you tune to the correct frequency, and then you can pick up you can decode the kind of data modes that you're listening to. So for instance, if I go to probably the best place might be 80 meters. The 80 meter data is it 3574 around there? So that looks like a signal there, doesn't it? Oh, it's done what I said before. Look, about moving down to the center. Bang. 3574. So if I click on that, get some audio. There you go. FT8 or whatever it is in the background. So all you do is you tune into that. You won't hear the audio because you'll have it connected to your virtual audio cable. But now if I was to load up my WSJTX software and then tell it to to use the audio input from virtual audio cable, it would pipe the probably tell the computer to do that as well. It will pipe the audio between the two softwares, and you'll be able to decode, and it's really good. And for instance, you can use it on 2 meters. You can go on to you can use it on JT65. You can look at beacons with it and things like that. So it's quite a useful little extra. The one thing I'm currently working on trying to get incorporated as well is down on 77s, or up on 77s, we've got these wireless key fob and weather station frequency, which is like 144,920. Sorry, 433,920. And one of them is actually mine, probably that one because it's the strongest. It's just my wireless weather system, which is actually on the house, which is a good sort of 40 meters away from the shack, but it's pretty strong. But the neighbour's got one as well, and theirs does wind and rainfall and everything. So what it would be good is to be able to pipe the audio from this into something like RTL 433 software. If you've ever come across RTL 433, you can use it to control an RTL SDR and your computer, and you can use it to monitor these and decode these signals. But what I'd like to be able to do is pipe the audio from the WebSDR into that same software and then use that to decode the signals as well. It must be possible. So currently investigating that, which would be really good as well. I think that's about it that I can go through. If there's any other questions or comments, let me know, and I'll try and answer them. But hopefully that's a brief overview of how it works with this new layout, which is rather a lot different to the standard HTML page you get from the WebSDR.org software. Credits really need to go to Roma SDR for this nice layout, which I've mentioned at the bottom down here. I've obviously changed it a lot for my preferences, but they've done the majority of the work to get it looking like it does, and it does look pretty good, I think. Right, that's it from me. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. All the best.